prepare yourself. Michele Bachmann is going to say something not stupid for the first time in her life.
Now, do you anticipate that if men, say me or, someone else on television, criticized Hillary Clinton for policy, that we're going to be then labeled misogynistic, as they're now doing with some people who criticize Barack Obama, that, the fringe, not mainstream, but the fringe does it. Do you think that's going to be in play? If you criticize Hillary Clinton, you don't like women?
I don't think so. I think that all women need to come in front of you and have an interview with you, because you will be tough, and that's exactly what women need to go through. But I will tell you, when I was running for president, I was on stage, and I was asked the question if as president, I would be submissive to my husband in the White House. That did not happen to any of the male candidates. So I think we do see a double standard. Hillary Clinton faced a double standard in 2008. There's no question. Chris Matthews had asked a question about whether troops would respect a woman. For instance, if she was commander-in-chief, Sarah Palin had to answer the question as vice president if she could also be a mother. These aren't questions that a man has to deal with. So I think all of this will work its way out, but I think the American people are coming very comfortable with seeing a woman in these positions.
Okay, not only is that a pretty good point, I never even thought of it. It's totally true that women get asked questions like, how are you going to balance motherhood with politics? Or, can America accept a woman president? And they also speculate way more on looks when it's women. I remember them saying all the time about Hillary, like, oh, she looks weathered and tired now. They don't do that nearly as much for men, if at all. I mean, think of somebody like Chris Dodd when he ran for president. That dude is as weathered as it gets and as tired as it gets. And nobody ever said, he looks a little different today. Is he up to this? We're not sure. So there definitely is a double standard. But here's one area where she's wrong and she sounds silly for saying what she said. She was asked the question about being submissive to her husband because she had said in the past that that's what a wife's role is because of her religion. And also she answered yes. She said, I will be submissive to my husband if I'm president. I have to do whatever he says. Again, that's my religion. So that's a bullshit point in the middle of a couple of decent points. But understand, I think the reason why so many men ask those questions that set up a double standard between men and women is because they subconsciously internalize the old school 1950s female role. So any deviation from that 1950s female role in their minds is strange, and they think it's a noteworthy point and something they should ask about. But here's why they're wrong for doing that. Dipshit. Obviously, they didn't pick the traditional role if they're running for president of the United States or if they're running for senator or some sort of high political office. So why are you asking them the questions as if they did choose that traditional role and that they should somehow try to hold on to that role while being president or being senator? It just doesn't make sense. And I think a lot of people do it, even so-called liberal commentators, people like Chris Matthews. They've definitely done it, and they got to stop. They got to stop. There is a double standard when it comes to the type of questions that are asked and how they're asked between male and female candidates.